his ability to just score within the rhythm of the offense really shines. What's that like for you as a coach, your staff, where it's like, I'm sure you want to call his numbers sometimes, but then again, it's like, well, we don't necessarily have to call his number for him to impact the game.
Yeah, you described it. You described it really well. Well, there's a few things that go into it. The amount of time that he spends in the gym, the amount of time he spent in the off season working on his jump shot. We're seeing that play out right now, and so I give Leon just a tremendous amount of credit, and really proud of him for. And he's always worked hard, but man, he's put in so much time, and it's fun. It's fun to see when it plays out on game night, right? Because he knows how much time he's put in. His teammates know. His family knows. So fun to see it pay off and show up on game night. So that's one. Two, his patience, I think, is probably the best word. There's been a couple of games where where the ball didn't find him as much. More games than not, it has. But it didn't find him as much, and he had to be had to be real patient. And then all of a sudden he gets kind of 3 or 4 baskets in a short stint. That happened in one of the earlier games in the second half, where he maybe got a shot or two in the first half, and all of a sudden he kind of quick burst, and he gets 3 or 4 baskets in a short period. So him having some patience, I think, has been an important part of it. Another and we do run some things for him. We've got some actions, specifically for him. So we do mix those in, but more of his has come, just during the flow of the game. And I think because he is getting, for the most part, he's involved enough without having to run a lot of things for him. If he was getting 3 or 4 shots every night, we'd be running a lot more stuff for him. Right? Our team needs that. Needs him to be that guy for us. Right? 2, he's worked really hard and he's earned that. Right? He's a good player, and he's showing us that. So I do like that we don't have to run something for him every time down for him to get 9 to 14 shots, right? And be in position to really impact the game on the offensive side. So I know there's a lot in there, but I think all of that is part of it. I think for me, mostly just really excited for him and proud of him for all the work that he put in.
You had the UIC on Wednesday. You're coming off a game where a team played you totally unique to anybody, especially defensively. Then what you face now, how do you transition back into, kind of like, opponents you're used to seeing?
Yeah, there was, the UIC mixed in a couple of zone possessions late in the game against, or in the second half. Against Belmont, but it was just a couple of possessions. They're much more of a man-to-man team. They do a fair amount of switching off the ball on some interchanges, and so more of a traditional game than what we had with Oakland in the prep, last week, getting ready for that game. So yeah, I mean it's I think some of the zone things that we did, some of the concepts will help us as we go forward. We won't. I don't think we're going to see anybody that's going to play 40 minutes of zone. But for us having to go through that and do it for a week, when we do see if it's 2 possessions or if it's 12 possessions, I think it's going to be something that's going to pay off for us. So, yeah, now we'll get back to our man-to-man stuff, and we've done enough of that. Not only that, I think the guys will be able to jump back in. We'll do a little bit of breakdown stuff. Do a little bit of 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4. To get them moving and thinking again about the, angles of, screening and some concepts, what we're looking for. So I think we'll be able to get right back into that.
Is there a chance we'll see Max this week?
I don't think so. And it's one of those guys, I wish I could give you more on it. And I know I mentioned it after the Oakland game, but the statement that Joel put out is the one that we're going to stick with. So as you guys know, I always like to give you everything I can. There's not more I can tell you. It's not because it's something from a health standpoint that's so serious that Max is really down and out. It's not so that our fans understand that Max is okay, and he's going to be healthy here. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Okay.
refresh me if I'm right, but this might be a house of horrors for RJ. This is where I think he got injured last year on the road.
Yeah, it is.
Is there any like where he's going to go? This place got bad mojo
No,
for me.
I don't think so. I think guys are. I don't think so. Yeah, I think from that standpoint he'll be fine. Now he did hit his hand, you know, and was not able to. We see the doctor actually at 1 o'clock today. I know you're asking about a different thing, but we do have a meeting here shortly just to see exactly what we're dealing with. I'll know more on that later today, so we can keep you updated on that.
What specifically will UIC try? You know, obviously you look at the record; they're 4-6, but they played Belmont to a 3-point game.
They really played a good basketball game at Belmont. Had them down 10 or 12 at halftime, and maybe got up to 13 or 14 at one point there toward the end of the first half, early second half. But they played a good game. Offensively, it's a lot of wing ball screen stuff. They've got a big guard that they put the ball in his hands quite a bit in this game, and he was really good in some two-man ball screen type actions. They brought a guard off the bench that made 8 threes against Belmont. Some of it on some just the ball movement, but then they also ran some actions for him. He came flying off some off-ball actions, some screens, and then caught it and shot it in a hurry. And anytime you'll hear that very often, a guy making 8 threes in one game. So. Yeah, their off-ball stuff is good. Like I said, they'll use the ball screen quite a bit. With the bigger guard, his passing is good. His feel is good. He can score. Their most experienced player with their program is the little guard that was there last year, and he's been a good player for them. And then they're really, I would tell you, we've seen quite a few teams this way. Their offensive rebounding, they've got three and sometimes 4 players going every time they shoot it. Their offensive rebounding numbers are impressive, and so we're going to have another one of those games where our defensive rebounding percentage that I've talked a lot about, and we just hit. I think we're just right at 73% with our defensive rebounding percentage, and that puts us at 57th in the country now. So that those numbers are both getting better. Again, 78% is where we'd like to be. We're at about 73%. In a game like this, you go on the road and you got your first league game, the transition defense, and the defensive rebounding that we've talked a lot about in this room. Man, would love to steal a couple of possessions in each of those categories on